Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden. You guys, it's spring. Well, it is spring here in Northern California. It is early March and I talked about this last year, I think. I consider spring to start March 1st. That is how I follow it. That's what the weather for us indicates. It is spring, and let me show you exactly why I say that. Look at my garden. Look at how beautiful it looks. Look at all of my red tulips. Is this not just the most beautiful thing in the entire world? I'm sorry for being a little bit crazy. This part of the garden gets a little bit more shade, so you can see the tulips are behind, but they are almost here. But look back here. Isn't this just so absolutely stunning? It is just so beautiful. And then so many things are starting to burst out and bloom. The trees are budding up. Everything is just looking so good. I have to show you guys the Super Bean of Pink Cashmere over here. That is looking absolutely amazing and starting to show some blooms. I have some daffodils, the red buds. Oh, the heliotrope, my heliotrope I overwintered. And this is I just noticed today was my first bloom. There's just so much to show you guys. And I didn't want to wait for my March garden tour because I feel like things go really quickly this time of year, right? And I don't want to miss anything. Like, look at my Magnolia stellata. Look at how beautiful this tree is. Look at how gorgeous this is. Oh my goodness. I am a happy camper right now. And even my red buds are starting to bud up and they're going to burst out into bloom any day now. And I am just so excited about it. So when I was walking around looking at all these beautiful blooms, look at my weeping willow tree. That's starting to leaf out as well. It's just so fun. But what I've been looking for is I've been looking at my roses. This is my honey apricot rose, Flavor It Honey Apricot Rose. And I'm watching it to see once I get 3 to 6 inches of new growth. And I think that's 3 inches. I think that's a solid 3 inches. That's when I know that it's time to fertilize. And that's what I'm doing today. I am fertilizing like crazy. I have a wagon full of different fertilizers, including my Van Winden's Secret Magic, whatever you want to call it, rose mix, which I actually mixed up this whole thing. And it's all set and ready to go. I talk about this a lot. I have so many videos on it. I know you guys have heard me say it, but it is just such a good rose mix. It's 1 cup alfalfa meal, 1/2 cup organic rose fertilizer, and 2 tablespoons of something called Sol-Po Mag. I'll put another name on the screen right now. I can't remember the other thing that people call it, but basically you mix all that up and that goes on 1 rose bush. And you don't want to put it on until March. Well, no, you don't want to put it on until you see 3 to 6 inches of new growth on your roses during the spring. So instead of mixing up individually, I just made up a big batch of it, and I am actually taking a lesson from one of my favorite gardeners, Jim Putnam, on his fertilizing techniques. If you haven't seen his video on fertilizing, it is amazing. It's why I love him as a gardener and a person. He's just the best. So I'll link this video down below and I'll put a couple clips in right now. But basically what he does is he doesn't overthink the act of fertilizing. He doesn't overthink it. He gets a bag of organic fertilizer, specifically organic, because you don't want to burn your plants or you don't want to force them out of dormancy if they're not ready out of dormancy. And he doesn't measure, he doesn't over fertilize. He takes the fertilizer and he just basically throws it in his garden to give his plants a little bit of food. And I just absolutely love that. And I love that idea. And it makes it so accessible and so easy. And like I said, it's one of the things that I love about Jim Putnam. So I would highly recommend going to watch that video because it's a great video. And I just, every time I think about doing this, I just think about him. So anyway, that's what I'm planning to do today. I'm planning to do the Jim Putnam method of fertilizing, where I'm just going to kind of throw things everywhere, throw my fertilizer everywhere. I have different types of fertilizer. I have a Spelma plant tone, right? That's one type, but I also have E.B. Stone plant food, which is basically the same type of stuff. It's an organic fertilizer. This one is 555. This one is, what is this Spelma? 533. right? So just a little bit different for the NPK, but basically it is an all-purpose plant food that's going to work really well for perennials and shrubs, and I'm going to use it on my trees as well. This is going to be for roses, and then I did get out some citrus fertilizer that I'm going to use on my lemon tree and my lime tree. I am not going to fertilize my orange trees because they're so big. I just don't need to fertilize those, but I'm definitely going to fertilize the lemon that's only been in for about 2 years and the lime that we just recently planted. So now for protection, the first thing I have is a mask, right, to protect myself. I have gloves, and then this guy is going inside because this guy will definitely want to sniff and possibly eat some of this plant food. And I find the best way to keep your dog away from it is to put them out of sight, out of mind, and then water everything in, which I'm going to do with my hose links. I'm going to water it in, and then he'll probably smell some of it, but not as much. Now, our last dog, Stanley, who passed away a couple years ago, he was a beagle. And if you guys know beagles, their noses are just absolutely crazy. So this would have never worked with Stanley. But with Monty, it's fine. But he's going inside. Okay, come on, bud. Go inside. Good boy. So it is early March for me right now, and the reason why I know it's a good fertilizing day, it's a good time to start fertilizing, is because the garden is starting to wake up. I was looking for signs of plants coming out of dormancy. I didn't really want to fertilize anything when they were still dormant. I like to fertilize once things just start to wake up, and then it's like, okay, here's breakfast for you. It's kind of how I think about it. But other plants that are not out of dormancy yet, I will not fertilize. For instance, I have sumerific hibiscus right here, right there, cut back. I'm not going to fertilize that guy because that guy's not awake yet, and it's not going to be awake for a while. So I don't want to force it out of dormancy unnecessarily because some things wake up a little bit later. The other thing I'm not going to fertilize is I'm not going to fertilize plants that don't like really rich soil, and they don't like to be fed. They don't like to be fertilized. Like lavender, this is Sweet Romance lavender. I'm going to skip that. I have Spanish lavender dotted around the garden as well. I'm going to skip my Spanish lavender. I'm going to skip my lemon coral sedum. I'm going to skip my denim and lace Russian sage. Basically anything that likes lean soil, I'm just going to go ahead and skip that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my mask on, get my gloves on, and I'm just going to get started and just go space by space along my garden, fertilize it, and then water it in. So something that I do want to point out about fertilizing is the fact that I am using organic fertilizers today and not synthetic fertilizers. And I am not poo-pooing synthetic fertilizers. I actually use synthetic fertilizers when I fertilize my annuals, right? Because synthetic fertilizers immediately go to the plant and it feeds the plant and the plant only. It does nothing for the soil. Organic fertilizers, they feed the soil. So you're actually improving the structure of your garden if you're using organic fertilizers. However, you have to wait for them to work on the soil, and then you have to wait on the soil to work on the plants for them to work. So it takes a little bit longer. So there's an application for both. There's an application for organic and there's an application for synthetic. You just have to understand what you're doing, and you have to have knowledge about why you're selecting the certain type of fertilizer and why you're putting it where. So I hope that that makes sense. So anyway, when I am doing the Jim Putnam method of fertilizing with organic fertilizer, it doesn't really matter where I put it because I am not trying to get it specifically right to the roots of a plant. I am fertilizing the soil. I am fertilizing my garden as a whole, and I am improving my garden as an entire structure, right? And that's why I love doing this, because it actually is improving the structure of my garden. It's improving the soil, and therefore I'm going to have better plants because I have better soil. Look at how beautiful that is. Oh, I cannot get over it. It's so beautiful. Red tulips, you guys. Red tulips are definitely the way to go. Any more roses? I don't think so. Look, I don't think so. Oh my gosh, everything is so dusty. Woo! Hopefully you guys are seeing this. So I am going to pay special attention to my pots. These are my limelight hydrangeas, and they are in containers. So they have no access to anything else other than what I give them. So I'm just making sure that they get plenty of attention. Okay, so I'm pretty much done with fertilizing my entire garden, my front garden, which has the most plants, and then my back garden as well. I have a couple more things to do. I want to pay special attention to like the podocarpus in the back garden and the cherry laurels in the back garden, but everything else could get, you know, the Jim Putnam method. But let me show you everything that I used. So I used 2 of the big bags of the all-purpose plant food, one of the EB Stone and one of the Espoma. This is 15 pounds, this is 18 pounds. And then I used 3 more bags that I had in my metal workshop. So what is that total? Like 45 pounds total, I would say. And then I used that whole container of the Van Winden's rose mix that I mixed up, and then a small bag of citrus and fruit tree food. And you guys pretty much saw everything that I fertilized. Look at my raspberry superbena. Look at how good this plant looks. It looks so beautiful. Oh, I'm just, I just love this time of year. It's just so beautiful. So what I'm going to do now is just finish off watering everything in. I watered the long border in, but I didn't water anything else, the center island or the orchard garden or anything like that. So I'm just going to go through and use my hose links, water everything in. I have to say everything stinks right now. Everything smells terrible, including myself, but that's okay. I wish we had some rain. The smart thing to do would be to wait until you had some rain, but I don't have any rain on my 10-day forecast, and I wanted to make sure that I got these guys fertilized as soon as they started waking up. But the smart thing to do would be to do this right before the rain. I've even done a fertilizing day during the rain, like it was a rainy day and I fertilized, and that made my job really easy because I didn't have to worry about watering at all. That's all right. I'll just hang out here and appreciate the beautiful blooms that I am seeing today because it is absolutely gorgeous. I hope you all enjoyed this and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.